They're like, oh, okay, okay. So if you do these three things, it'll get you, on track. Now, I'm not saying you're gonna get your loan tomorrow, but you will be on your way.
Now,
Okay.
I'm sorry. Do those credit prerequisites only apply for the general partners, or is it just like maybe limited partners too? Is that just for our
No,
viewers'
that's
sake?
just going to be like the main partners. Anybody who's over 20% owner.
Yep. So
Gotcha.
just the general partners then.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. And so credit is a function of character. And look, I grew up in a household. I'll be first to admit it. When I was like 8 years old, and somebody would call, I would answer the phone. I'd be like, "Hey, my mama says she ain't home,"
I know.
and hang up.
Mm-hmm.
I did not learn good credit and financial management skills from my parents. I wasn't in that household. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to get that as an adult.
Absolutely.
And for me, the thing that I didn't get when I was young, and I say young, I in my 20s, was I had to learn to take credit as a character issue. I'm going to pay you back because I said I would. Period. No matter whether you're Bank of America or you're Anthony. If I said I'm going to give it to you on Friday, I'm going to give it to you on Friday. I'm going to pay. If I borrowed it, I'm going to pay you off early. Years ago, I was a financial advisor, and I needed money to get my license because you have to be Series 7's license.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the training was like $700, something like that. And my wife, who at the time was my girlfriend, right? I was like, hey, believe it or not, these crazy people want to hire me. Right? But I got
Always
I
a
got to
great
come with like
feeling.
$700 for this class, and and I'm short, right? So she lent me the money. She was just started work as a nurse, and she lent me the money. And then I told her, I think I said I'd pay her back in like, I don't know, 3 months or 4 months, something like that or whatever, right? And I paid her back in like 30 days,
Mm-hmm.
something
Yeah.
like that. And so from her perspective, oh, he's got great credit
Yeah.
Yeah. You're more worthy.
because he paid me back like he said he would, and B, he paid me back early,
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And so and this is a lesson, by the way. If someone wants to have partners, a great way to attract partners on a lifelong basis is make sure everyone that's doing business with you makes money, and they make more money than they thought they would.
That
So
makes
you
sense.
set the
Under
expectation.
promise
This
and
is
over deliver.
Yeah, under promise and over deliver. And when I had a business venture that I was a mini real estate investment that I was doing, and I was going to raise some capital. And I called a bunch of my friends, and I was like, "Hey, meet me at the church." And I was teaching Bible study, as a deacon, but also as a deacon, I had keys to the church, right? So I'm like, right after Bible study, we're gonna have a private meeting, okay? And so, I need you there. And one of my buddies was like, okay, I'm there. I'm like, wait, I didn't tell you what we're meeting about. He's like, it don't matter. He's like, every time I do a deal with you, I make money.
Yeah.
You just tell me that, dude, time and place, bro. I'm there.
Yes,
I
sir.
was like,
That's the
oh,
type of people you
okay.
need around you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And if you have that kind of attitude with your investors where you're more concerned about them getting paid than you getting paid, you will never have a problem finding partners.
That makes a lot of sense. I mean, nobody wants someone who's selfish and only worried about themselves, and at the same time, you're prioritizing them over everything. How could they not want to work with you?
Exactly.
Yes, sir. And speaking on
And you're going to
character,
need partners,
I'm
right?
sorry. Go
Because
ahead.
that last 6C is capability. Are you capable of making this project work? And how do we gauge capability? Your experience.
Mm.
And if you come in and you say, hey, Malcolm, I want to do this 50 unit, retail center. And I say, okay, how many of these do you own? I don't have any. Okay. How many multifamilies do you own? Oh, I don't have any.
Yep.
How many houses do you own? Oh, I got like 10 houses. I'm like, okay, that's not good enough for this 50 unit retail shopping center, though. Okay. So, do you have partners
Yeah.
that have that experience so that when we get to the capability part of our underwriting, we can say, oh, yeah, these guys have done this project and this project and this project. They're more than capable of making this work.
And that's where a sponsor comes into play, ladies and gentlemen.
Boom.
So if you have zero experience, like, you know, David and I in the multifamily commercial space in Asia as well, that's where you leverage partners called sponsors, called KPs, to use their credibility and experience to qualify for these larger loans.
Dave, you were saying something though?
Oh yeah, I was just speaking back to character, right? That you were one of your 6 C's, and I was just kind of wondering too, how did your religious beliefs and practices and you being a deacon, how did that influence your character, one, but also your success as an loan officer, and how did it carry over? What kind of qualities within the church did you learn that carried over into your business, and if any?
Well, it did because I was a good guy before I had good credit, right? So, and what I mean by a good guy, um, one of the qualifications of a deacon is it should be someone of good character, good standing within the community, right? So I was one of those people that if I said I was going to teach on Wednesday night or Sunday school, on Sunday morning, I showed up. I didn't make excuses and be like, oh, well, my dog, took my keys. I wasn't able to make it. Oh, I know I'm supposed to start at 9:30. I know it's 9:25. Can someone fill in for me?
Yeah.
So I got myself to a point where I was, known for being reliable, someone you can count on, someone that wouldn't betray your confidence or your trust. And if you came to me with a problem, say you and your wife are going through something, and you're like, hey, Malcolm, you and your wife been married a long time. Can you, give me some insight? I'd be like, yeah, this is what you got to do, dude. You got to, stop messing around. Look, you're going to get caught. Stop cheating. You're going to get caught. You ain't clever enough. Bill Clinton gets caught. You're going to get caught. Unless you want to get caught, right? Cheat if you want to get caught. If you put that in your mind, right? When you can't control your urges, think about your stuff, right? I like my stuff. I don't want to give up my big screen TV and my car and my house and my checking account, right? Just from a material perspective, right? So get yourself under control, right? Yeah. And the first thing I don't want to sound misogynist, but the first thing a man has to do is get control of himself.
I agree completely.
And practice discipline and say, I can't do everything I want to do when I want to do it. I'm going to have to grind. I'm going to have to sacrifice, right? And the whole key to being successful is doing stuff most people won't do, right? And now part of where the religion part came in was I was like, okay, I'm now a deacon. Folks can depend on me in church, but my credit's kind of icky. I gotta not have imposter syndrome, right? I gotta live this thing all the way.
Yes.
Okay. So now everybody's got their issues. I'm not saying I'm a perfect guy. Far from it. I got my own issues and flaws, as my wife will occasionally remind me, right? But there's some stuff I don't have. I don't gamble, ain't my thing, right? I'm not a philanderer or a cheater, right? Not my thing, right? But when it comes to character, it's like there's some stuff you can't put a price on. Correct. You just can't. And Alex Hormozy, I don't know if you guys follow him.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
On YouTube, he was telling this story of one of the early deals he was doing, and his attorney sent some paperwork over and they screwed it up. Okay. So when they closed on this deal, he got $60,000 less than he should have.
Mm.
Okay. The guy on the other side of the transaction caught it and said, "Oh, wait, Alex is supposed to get some more money. Hey, we got to fix this." The guy's attorney said, "Well, we already closed. If Alex didn't double check the paperwork, that's his fault. If his attorney screwed it up, that's his fault. He paid his attorney.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's not your responsibility." So the guy was like, "Yeah, that's true. You're fired."
Wow.
Integrity.
Yeah. That's
Fired his
character.
own attorney and then cut Alex the check for the 60 grand, right? And gave it to him because I said I would, right? And then he said to him after, he goes, "My reputation and my word is priceless.
Yeah.
There's no amount of money I'm going to put on it, you know?" And so that has served me well. Is because the one thing, there's two things we're known for locally in our market, right? The folks that really know us. We have a reputation of closing. There's a certainty of execution that we bring to the table, right? And that's how I get deals, because folks would be like, "Man, your bank told you no." You know, I had a guy last year, he banked at the same bank I did. And our bank shut down his deal like 10 days before he was supposed to close.
Wow.
And someone else at the bank pulled his coattails and was like, hey, call this guy, Malcolm Turner, Castle Commercial Capital, but you didn't hear it from me.
I
Right?
love that.
He was like, "Yeah." And the guy's like, "Well, he banks here, but he's in the commercial mortgage business, right?" The guy had a 5,000 square foot warehouse, like mixed. It was like office and warehouse, and he was buying the building next door that was 30,000 square feet. So think about, like, he was going to 5x his capability.
Yep.
So it was really going to be millions of dollars to his bottom line to get this building.
Yeah.
And the bank, left him in the lurch. So he went on Google, saw my reviews. He went on Facebook, saw some folks talk about me positively for a couple of times. Like, okay, this is enough of this. Let me call this guy. Right. Bottom line was, we closed his loan in, like, it was an SBA loan, and we closed it in 60 days.
Nice.
And all his buddies were like, "That guy's lying. He can't close the SBA
Too good
loan
to
in
be
60
true.
days. The bank can't close a swinging door in 60 days." Now that part is true, right? But we're not the bank.
Exactly.
Right? We're not the bank. So he was telling me, "No, dude, you don't understand. We closed. I'm not telling you what we're going to do. I'm telling you what happened." So that certainty of execution is huge. But then the other thing that I got a good reputation for is being a person of integrity.
Yep.
I'll tell them straight up, this is a terrible deal. That's why no one's going to finance it. You're trying to, you're trying to sell a weasel and making us think that, oh, this is an eagle. Yeah. No, dude, this is a terrible deal. Or it's a good deal. You just been talking to the wrong people.
Exactly.
There's a book out. I'm trying to think of the correct title. You guys may know it. It's like, it's not what, it's who.
Yes, I've
It's
heard
not
that.
what you know. It's I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that the title of the book is something like, it's not what but who. And the principle being, it's about relationships, and having the right connections will be a bigger factor of your success, more so than doing this strategy or that strategy or that strategy. Because as long as you got a great team, you can make anything happen.
It's absolutely true. Now, speaking of a great team, I'd like, to get to know you more personally, and obviously let our viewers get to know you more personally. So I want to maybe steer away from the commercial side of things right now. Who's that team that you have behind you? Who's that big supporter that you have in your corner that gives you that big boost every day that, keeps you going?
Well, my wife.
I knew it.
That was what I was
Of
aiming
course,
for.
yeah.
That's what I wanted.
Yeah, my wife. No question. And
$700 story.
as my former pastor says, a support dog that won't wag his own tail. right?
Mm-hmm.
And me and my wife, we've been 27 years coming up here shortly,
God bless.
you
Nice.
God
know.
bless is right.
And yeah, it's been awesome, and she's great. We are honestly each other's best friend.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but my wife is a feminine woman.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so she supports me in what I do. Now, I'm not saying she's a pushover, right? You know, but she trusts me to lead the household and do the right thing.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
And I
Mm-hmm.
honor that trust by always thinking in the best interest of, the family and everyone else. And, I remember my best friend from college, and we're still best friends. Like literally, we known each other almost 35 years. And when him and his wife got engaged, I think me and my wife had only been married maybe like a couple years. And for some reason, I was talking to his fiance at the time, who I had known for quite a few years. And she was like, Malcolm, I'm having a hard time with this whole submission thing. I know what the Bible says and all this stuff, but I'm just, you know, I don't know if I can submit myself to a man.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I get it, but it doesn't say submit yourself to men. It says submit to your husband,
Mm.
right?
Okay.
Who in the same paragraph has to love you, like Christ loved the church, i.e., willing to die for it. Now, let me ask you a question. If you guys are going out to the movies tomorrow night and you're in a dark alley and somebody jumps out, is Rob going to step in front of you and take a bullet for you?
Oh, hell yeah.
And she's like, oh, absolutely he would. I goes, okay. So you're marrying a guy who's going to give you everything
Mm-hmm.
and is going to take care of you, right, for the rest of your life, as long as he's alive. You're going to eat first, you know. Okay, so that's what you're submitting to, that kind of love and protection?
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, I get it.
Had to put it in
I get
perspective
it.
for her real quick.
I get it. And when me and my wife had our 25th anniversary, and we went on a cruise, right? Rob and Jen, they were right with us,
Mm.
right?
I love that.
Right with us. They've been. I think they got married maybe like 1 year after us or something like that. But they've been, same amount of time,
Wow.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And he does anything for his wife.
Yep.
She's got a wonderful house. She's never had to worry about the lights being on. There's no creditors at the door. Rob don't mess around. He don't cheat on her. He's an honorable dude. You
Mm-hmm.
know, she submitted herself to a great life.
Yep.
You know,
And I think your point is obviously that having the right woman next to you and having you're a team, obviously, but you know your roles at the end of the day. I hate to put it like that, like roles, but you're there to serve and protect the family and provide a safe place for everyone. And she's there to support you in all of your endeavors and supporting the family, of course.
But also the main thing I also get from that is that he wouldn't have that supportive rock that he has of a wife. He wouldn't have that great team that he has if it wasn't for his self-discipline, if it wasn't for his self-awareness, his self-actualization, and saying, I need to have this certain level of standard, integrity, and honor within myself
In order to have a woman like that next to me.
I will never have a woman like that of that caliber and will submit,
absolutely,
without
absolutely.
me being
Because
at that level.
here's what a lot of guys miss, and you see that YouTube is full of all these, guys with podcasts, and they clown on women, and women clown on them. It goes back and forth, right, right.
Gender wars.
But here's the thing: to be a leader, right, where i.e. someone follows you, right? You gotta lead. You gotta have a vision
Mm-hmm.
for where you're going, what you're doing, And if you're the kind of guy that, hey, he's got a plan, he's got something he's striving for, and then the people around you could see you working towards that thing and sacrificing and putting your shoulder to the plow on that thing, right? they're like, okay, I'm going where he's going. Now the challenge is when you're leading men, right? You have to have a vision big enough that it's one is bigger than everyone else is in the room. Now you can't be the smartest guy in the room. You shouldn't be the smartest guy in the room. But if you're the leader of an organization, you need to have the biggest vision in the room.
Wow. You spoke to me
Because
right
if you
there.
don't, the guy who's number 2 or number 3, a guy could be number 10. And he'll sit there and goes, I got a bigger vision of where I could take this business. This guy does.
Yeah.
He don't know what he's doing. He's not trying to take it anywhere. I'm out. Right. And that guy will go start his own thing. And then before you know it, 5, 6 of his people are left with him.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Look what happened with OpenAI. Right. Did you guys see what was going on with them in the news?
No.
Right.
I can't say.
They had a little, that's the chat GTP folk. The board fired the CEO.
Wow.
His
Really?
co-founder, who was he was president of the company. They were like, well, we're going to have you, stick on, and we're not going to have you on the board anymore, but we want you to stick on as president, and he was like, yeah, I'm not doing that. Bye. See ya. I'm out. And he quit. Right. Within, I think it was like 3-4 days. Right. Something like 80% of the employees sent a open letter to the board saying, if you don't bring him back, we're quitting.
Wow.
Now, you know where they're going.
Yep.
Right. Wherever he's at.
Exactly.
That's
guy,
trust right there. That's a relationship
right?
That's been built by
being in the front lines with these people, really like shoulder to shoulder with them, true leadership.
Right. So what happened? They bring the guy back, right? And the president, he comes back with him, because he went to Microsoft, which is our largest shareholder.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He just said, which was dumb because Microsoft put billions into that company, and you fire the founder of the company, and you also lose the co-founder of the company, and you don't tell them first.
Mm-hmm.
That's not good stewardship.
Nope.
We didn't give you $15 billion for you to muck it up.
Exactly.
Right. Right.
It's because of these two people in place that it's running as efficiently as it is.
Well, and the guy had the vision to create the thing in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Now you may disagree with his tactics and but the guy created the whole thing. And so, they end up bringing him back, and Microsoft now has a non-voting seat on the board, right? And those board members that caused the coup in the first place are out, But you got to have a vision that other people can latch onto. And I don't know. I think the guy Sam Altman. I don't know the guy personally, obviously, but when your vision is so big that the whole company is going to say, "We're going wherever the hell you are."
Mm-hmm.
You gone, we're gone.
I like that because that's kind of how David and I met when we first got started in this. We met at Multifamily Mindset through Tyler Devereaux, and I had some experience doing some single family flips and everything. So that's why I was venturing into the commercial space, and David had met me, zero experience in real estate, and I forget what made it come up, but I had mentioned that I wanted to try and get 1,000 units within my first year. That vision alone attracted him, and he was admirable by it. He admired it. He really looked at me as like, wow, he's 22 years old.
Like, what the hell?
Yeah, what the hell is he doing? And whatever he's doing, I want to be a part of. So it's very, I relate to that very much so.
And in the same regard with my first company, CG Studios, where my head was at before, because, we had a staff of 15 at a point with our multimedia company, and it started with just the 3 cousins. And this was a vision of mine initially, and it compounded, exponentially within, just the first couple of years. I just wanted to have something that was for like music and just maybe a music label of some sorts. And once Asia got on board, he just opened my eyes to it. Like my vision was already huge, but it's just now it expanded. Like once I brought somebody smarter in the picture in the frame, and he could show me, no, bro, you could also we could also just do this, and this, and we can take shit over. Oh,
right.
Okay, wow. You just opened my eyes up to, you just expanded the vision. So, like when the vision's already big enough where, you have people come in there and add to it and make it bigger than all of you guys even imagined, that's it's a beautiful thing, man.
Well, and that's where you feed, right? It's like, you got fuel, you got fire, and you got wind, right?
Yeah, you said it in the beginning.
You were saying before.
Or like my favorite brand when I was growing up as a kid, I didn't get them too much later, Earth, Wind, and Fire, right? It's like you got all of those pieces and you feed off of each other, and so it's like, you know what, we could do this, but then we could even do this other thing. And it's like, oh, okay. And like me and my best friend, we collaborate on all kind of stuff, and it works because I trust him. He trusts me. We don't always agree, but we always know where the other guy's coming from.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like we may disagree on tactics, but the intent of what we're trying to do is always in the same direction.
Yes, sir.
Right? And there's moments where you say, you know what? Let me sit on that and percolate on that for a minute. And then you may come back and goes, you know what? I kind of thought that was a harebrained idea, but now after thinking about it over the weekend, that's actually pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. We could actually, and I've been thinking about that some more. What if we added this to it? And then that guy goes, oh man, now you done made it better. I hate you.
Right? That happens all the time. I feel like with all the, especially since we are kind of in this integral stage of still learning things and gaining our experience, that's a lot of what we deal with now between the dynamic of our group, because we're always bouncing ideas off of each other. And we're always seeing that one idea complements another, and it just keeps on growing to be a better product than what we initially started with.
Exactly. And we may not always see eye to eye, and there may be those semi-heated debates, but it's always with the right intention. It's always with the right, mindset and where we're trying to go. We're all trying to reach the same goal. We're trying to reach the same level. So,
Well, like the last argument me and my buddy had was, okay, we're promoting the book, right? And it was like, okay, should we run Google ads or should we do Amazon ads? Right? And I was like, we should do Amazon ads. And he's like, I think we should do Google ads. And I was like, nah, we should do Amazon ads. Right? And then we had a healthy, robust back and forth about it, because it's never emotional.
No, but it's heated
never,
though. It's heated though to a degree.
It's never. Well, you what's your data, right? And as the good book says, iron sharpens iron.
Yeah,
not wood, iron. Right? And so it's like, okay, what's the data? And I won that argument because if I'm on an Amazon platform, right, which I am, but I'm also, we have a financing the unbankable deal website. We're selling, our book through there as well. And Amazon's just our fulfillment in that respect. Okay, well, if I'm going to do ads to the general public, then, Amazon's going to be number one. Now, there's a whole nother level of marketing that we do through Instagram and Facebook to real estate investors that say, hey, if you're trying to get a commercial bridge loan, if you're trying to finance multifamily, retail, office, blah, 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 call us, give us your name, your number, your email, we'll contact you, explain our programs, blah, 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 blah. Those things generate about 30 leads a week.
Wow.
Nice.
For us,
Then, Brother Malcolm, that you even was on the subject, I just wanted to thank you so much for joining our show today. We got a plethora of information from you, and it was just great to even just hear you, just your point of view and how you even came up and everything. So for the viewers, please let us know where they can follow you, all of your social media handles, everything that you have going on, any
emails,
yes,
anything, anywhere
everything.
people could reach you so that
Everything.
they could.
You can number one, you can reach us on our website, castlecommercialcapital.com. You can find my book, Financing the Unbankable Deal, at financingtheunbankabledeal.com. It's also on Amazon. You can find us on YouTube because we have a YouTube channel, Castle Commercial Capital. You can go on your Google Play Store, your Apple App Store, and search Castle Commercial Capital and find our app. You can reach us that way. We're on LinkedIn. We're on Facebook. As Coach Prime likes to say, I ain't hard to find. You know, if you can't find Castle, if you can't find Malcolm Turner, man, you ain't looking. I mean,
that's what I like to hear.
Come on, man. And we answer our phone too. Come on, So all of those places, they can reach us and find us. Our 800 number is 800-598-5530. If they want to drop us a line, they can do that. Now, I will say this: I can get text, but I'm not a texter.
Understood.
I'm not. Yeah, the best way to reach me is either call me or send me an email. And you can send me an email at Malcolm MALCOLM at castlecommercialcapital.com.
Awesome.
Perfect.
That's the best way.
Awesome.
Sorry, you cut out for a second. What did you say?
I want to leave you with a quote, if I could.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
definitely. No, more than welcome. Yes.
I want to leave you with two. One is John Kennedy, who famously said, "We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they're easy, but because they are hard.
Mm-hmm.
And because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best of our energies and skills, because that challenge is one we are willing to accept and one we are unwilling to postpone, and one in which we intend to win." And I think that's a case for doing the hard thing, doing the exceptional thing. And then the last one is I'll leave you from Michael Johnson, the Olympic gold medal sprinter.
Mm-hmm.
He said they don't give you gold medals for beating somebody. They give you gold medals for beating everybody.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I love that.
I like that. I really do like that.
Absolutely.
Number one. If you ain't first, you last. Ricky Bobby.
Ricky Bobby, baby.
Yes, sir. Well, Malcolm, thank you again. Thank you again. So
Hey,
Sir,
it was
thank
an
you,
honor.
Malcolm.
Thanks, guys, for having me on. It was great.
No problem,
We
man.
really appreciate it, and we look forward to having you on again if you're interested. So we could definitely discuss that afterwards.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
yes, sir. Now, everybody.